Hello and welcome to Vegan Running Dietitian. Today we are making pumpkin pie. Of course, it's the traditional dessert that we normally have for Christmas or Thanksgiving, except this time we're making it vegan. First, what we're going to do is we're going to make our crust. You can use a Vitamix like this. You can use a bowl, just do it by hand. I used to do it with a fork. What we're going to do is we're going to take 2.5 cups of flour. We're going to put it into our bowl. And we're going to add to it 8 ounces of vegan butter. Now all we're going to do is we're going to mix it up so it's nice and crumbly. Alright, once that's all mixed up, we're going to add a teaspoon of salt and we're going to add a teaspoon of sugar as well. We're going to give that a little mix. Finally, we're going to add our 6 to 8 tablespoons of ice cold water. You want to make sure it's nice and cold. Now, you don't want it to be too dry or too runny, so just keep an eye on it. Okay, so once it's all sticking together, that's when you know it's all finished. Now what we're going to do is we're going to want to put it in a Ziploc bag or just wrap it up so we can put it in the fridge for about 4 hours so it's nice and cool, and this makes the dough so much better when we do this. Now we are ready to make the filling for the pie. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, and what we're going to do for the egg is we're going to take 4 tablespoons of warm water and we're going to take 1 tablespoon of egg replacer. You can probably use the flaxseed. I haven't tried with it, but this one I just like, especially for a pumpkin pie. So we're going to take 1 tablespoon of this and add it to the 4 tablespoons of water. So we're going to add our egg replacer. And we're going to mix this around. Once it's mixed around, we're going to take 1.5 cups of soy creamer, the Silk soy creamer. You can probably just use a regular almond milk or soy milk, but I like to make sure that it's nice and creamy, so I like to use the Silk soy creamer. So we want 1.5 cups of this. We're going to take 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and put it into our soy milk. That way it helps to thicken it up a bit. You want to make sure that you're stirring it so that it's all dissolved. And finally, we're going to put 2 cups of pumpkin puree into the bowl and mix away. So now that we've waited 4 hours or more for our dough, it is finally finished. So the best thing to do is you want to get some parchment paper. This is the way I like to roll it out because it's a lot less mess and a lot less fuss too. So I like to get 2 pieces of parchment paper about this size. Then I like to put the dough in between it and roll it out just that way. And you want to make sure that it's rolled out enough to fit into your pie pan.
Vai minha tristeza e diz a ela que sem ela não pode ser.
Okay, so our pie is ready to go into the oven. You want to preheat the oven to 425 degrees and we're going to let it bake for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, you want to turn down the heat to 350 degrees and we'll bake for another 40 to 50 minutes. While the pie is baking, we're going to go ahead and make the coconut whipped cream. It is delicious. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 can of coconut milk. Now you want to make sure that it's the regular coconut milk with the full fat in it. And you want to put this in your fridge the night before you're going to make it because it makes it a little bit thicker as well. So we're going to take the whole can and put it in here. We're going to take a half of a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to use 2 to 5 tablespoons of powdered sugar. This will help to sweeten it, but also to thicken it some as well. Now we're going to whip it. So you want to make sure you're starting out slow so the powdered sugar doesn't go everywhere, and then move up to a higher speed and really whip it. It could take about between 3 to 5 minutes or so. Just make sure it's the consistency that you want. The whipped cream is finished. As you can see, it's amazing consistency, just like a normal whipped cream. You want to make sure though that you keep this cool until it's time to serve the pie. Alright, so the pumpkin pie has finished baking. It smells delicious. I've let it cool off, so I'm ready to go ahead and serve it with the coconut whipped cream. I hope that you guys give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think, and if you go ahead and make it, which I hope you do, go ahead and take a picture with the hashtag vegan running dietitian. Thanks for joining. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe.